Derby County are in need of strike force reinforcements, and this player, Jayden Danns from Liverpool, is one of those players who could come in and offer Derby County support in that forward area. He's a youngster from Liverpool Football Club who will be looking to take the role of that of James Collins or Dejan Brown if he is to make the move to Derby County from Anfield. He's a player who is still in the early stages of his career. He has made his senior debut for Liverpool in a range of different competitions, but is it time for him to go out into senior men's football and find himself a proper role in professional football before making his way back to Liverpool at the end of the season? There's so many clubs interested in the loan signing of Jayden Danns. Is he going to end up in the Championship, or will he end up elsewhere? Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content. We've obviously got a ton of player profiles coming over the course of the next few weeks as the transfer window gets busier and busier. So let's see more about Jayden Danns and where he fits in with Derby County. Now, Jayden Danns is a player who has been linked to Derby County over the course of the past few days. He's an 18-year-old centre forward, born on the 16th of January 2006. He's mainly a striker, but he can play anywhere across the front three. And there is a ton of interest from other Championship clubs, as well as clubs abroad. And for me, that could be an opportunity for him. There's plenty of opportunities for him in England, but why not take up one of those loan opportunities in a foreign country? Now, for me, Jayden Danns has the opportunity to come into Derby County and open up a new situation for Derby. The likes of Dejan Brown could head out on loan to League One, where he could get more consistent minutes. The likes of James Collins and Connor Washington could find their way out of the football club over the course of the next 6 months. So it's going to be a very interesting one to see how this one will play out. Now, obviously, Jayden Danns is a player who hasn't really had a ton of senior football, only making 6 appearances for Liverpool's first team, but he has scored twice in those appearances. Now, he's also made a ton of appearances throughout the academy, 33 appearances, 24 goals and 4 assists for the under-18s, 9 appearances, 3 goals and 2 assists for the under-21s, 2 appearances and 1 goal in the UEFA Youth League. And for me, Jayden Danns has shown that he's capable of playing at the first team level. He just needs to learn the processes of first team football, and that'll be what a loan move could do for him. We've seen it happen time and time again with youngsters from the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. going out on these loan spells, getting some really, really good football. You look at the likes of Mason Mount, Fikayo Tomori, Harry Wilson, 3 just to name that have came to Derby County and put in unbelievable performances and then headed back to their parent clubs and made appearances as well. Obviously, some have then moved on to pastures new, and this could be another situation for Jayden Danns where he can come and prove himself in the Championship in a team that's sort of in and around the mid-table area, and he could potentially find himself as a proper out-and-out striker playing in a potentially a 2 or singular striker role for Derby County. I think he could fulfil both roles alongside or without Jerry Yates. Obviously, Jerry Yates has been a massive performer so far for Derby County. We obviously look now at the competitions he's played in. The Under-18s Premier League, 27 appearances. Premier League 2, the FA Youth Cup, the UEFA Youth League, and then his senior appearances in the EFL Cup, Premier League, FA Cup and EFL Trophy, as well as that singular appearance in the Europa League, which is a massive, massive milestone for any footballer in world football. You also look at his position map now and how many games he's played. 27 games as a centre forward with 17 goals and 4 assists. 5 appearances on the left, 3 appearances on the right, and then 2 appearances in behind the striker. That shows the versatility that he has on offer and something which could be very useful for Derby County. We all know how Paul Warne likes to swap and change as games goes on and moves players onto the wrong side on occasion to sort of cause problems for the opposition. We saw it last night, which was the Leeds game as I'm recording this, with obviously Corey Blackett-Taylor coming on the right instead of the left, which is a bit different for him. And we obviously then go on to look at the squad depth chart and where Jayden Danns could step in for Derby County, and it would be in that striker role for me over the course of the potential loan spell. And I do think it would open up the door to send Dejan Brown on loan. Now, I know a lot of people will say, but shouldn't we just play Brown? And in my opinion, I agree. I think Dejan Brown should have much more minutes than what he has currently in the league. And I understand Paul Warne's situation where he wants to sort of put out his best team and guarantee a best possible result with the best possible players, but ultimately he's not really put that trust in Brown to prove that he's capable of performing to these high levels. And that for me is where I could see a Jayden Danns coming in, because we're not then obligated to play Jayden Danns. Yes, we might have a deal with Liverpool where he has to play so many minutes before the end of the season, but for me, if we can send Dejan Brown out and he goes and gets 15, 16 starts, playing 60 or so minutes a weekend for a League One club or League Two club, I think that would be more beneficial for him than sitting on the bench and watching Jerry Yates or James Collins. And that's just my personal opinion. You can let me know yours down in the comment section. But what would this deal be? Now, obviously, it's going to be a loan deal. Wherever he goes, it will be a loan deal, in my opinion. I can't see Liverpool letting go of him at his current early age of just 18. There's a lot of players who develop much, much later than that. You look at the likes of Jamie Vardy and things like that. And I know there's only a few names like that you can really mention, but it's happened throughout world football across the course of the entire lifespan of football, where players have developed late on in their career. So looking at a player like Jayden Danns, I can't see Liverpool really wanting to move him on a permanent deal. Now, even if they did, it would be a very, very expensive one, and one which Derby County would be priced out of very quickly, I can imagine. Now, he certainly does add to our forward options, whether that be keeping the likes of Dejan Brown, James Collins and Connor Washington and having him involved in that as well would be very interesting. Obviously, Derby County have to be careful with obviously their loan spots. We obviously already have 5 in the club. You can only have 5 in each matchday squad. So it would potentially mean that someone would be heading back to their club, or it could potentially mean that one of them is just going to miss out every week. And obviously, there is a lot of interest from other clubs. And I think for the likes of Liverpool and teams like that, when they look at sending a player on loan, they're looking at 3 different things for me: facilities, potential playing time, and the manager. Now, for me, I think Paul Warne is an excellent man manager. Is he the best when it comes to being a tactician or making sure we set up the right way correctly? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. He's sort of in that mid-tier for that, in my opinion. But when it comes to looking after players, he is absolutely unbelievable. And will he get minutes at Derby County? Now, that all comes based on what we do if he was to come in. Would we lose a James Collins? Would we lose a Connor Washington? Would we lose a Dejan Brown to sort of open up a space for him to be within the squad and let them go out and play their football elsewhere? That's sort of the big discussion to have. Now, obviously, Jayden Danns is not going to be the saviour. He's not going to be the player that's going to come in and score 20 goals across the course of a season at this point in his career. But if he was to come in and pop up with 5-6 goals by the end of the season, I think that would be a really successful loan spell for Derby County, if obviously he does choose to come and join Derby County. Now, that isn't guaranteed. It isn't even guaranteed that Derby end up putting in an offer. But what I can say is I do think he would improve Derby County. I would much prefer Dejan Brown to get a ton more minutes at Derby County, but if it means that Dejan Brown can go out and play football and prove his worth in the EFL, then I'm absolutely all for this deal. Now, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content coming your way. I'll catch you in the next one.